Hi, my name is Deshawn Wirt, and I'm the director of Mount Olive Preschool right outside Marion, Indiana. I'm here to share a little bit about how we are going to reopen this fall. We are past the quality level 3, which means we can take On My Way mini grants from the state as well as CCDF funds, parents who are eligible. In this presentation today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the health screenings for our students and staff, what happens when somebody gets sick at school, how families can safely return to school after feeling sick, and some of the preventative measures we're doing to keep kids, family, and staff safe. This year, Mount Olive Preschool was named as a grant award winner for the Come Back Stronger grant. We were awarded $20,000, and that money was used to buy extra equipment and supplies. We now have sinks in every classroom. We also have touchless faucets in our bathrooms, and we have protective gear to wear, including plastic shields, other supplies, sanitizer, and materials to start the year safe. Also part of that grant is some money to hire additional staff so that we will have a person available to clean, a custodian to clean mornings and afternoons that were in place, as well as deep clean the rooms, sanitize the rooms daily after use. Additional services include working with some agencies, Brightwill management that helps us foster. It's a communication tool that fosters two-way communication. It's going to allow us to take care of much of the business in a safe way, as well as some well-being plans that we've set into place. This plan was guided by information from the local school districts in the surrounding area, Grant County Health Department, as well as the State Health Department, and other tools given to us about how to safely reopen school. Our preschool council and church have both looked at this plan, and we've worked together to share some of the steps we're going to use in the next year. It's a tiered approach, and it's to keep our kids safe and respond to what's currently happening in our county. So how our preschool plans to respond to coronavirus and its spread is a tiered approach, as I said. And I'm going to start with green arrow, which it means low to no spread as determined by our state and county officials. So if we are in a low spread, no spread time, we have safety protocols in place that will include temperature checks coming in. We have frequently cleaned rooms, following the sanitation rules that were laid out in front of us from CDC and how to kill coronavirus. We are going to limit access to the building from anyone not enrolled in preschool. We're also going to have parents able to take children to the door of the classrooms, but not allow anyone in the actual rooms themselves unless they're the children or the staff. We have these preventative and proactive processes in place to help manage contamination in the room and in our church as well. We are requiring that adults have either a plastic face shield or a mask if you are entering the building. Just again, to keep that low and no spread. The best prevention that we've been reading is that limiting the amount of people, limiting different people in the rooms is going to cut the chances of introducing coronavirus in the atmosphere. I'm going to move to the yellow arrow at this point in time and talk about what the changes would be in the procedures if our county and state determine we have moderate spread. So we would still include the health checks daily. We would still include the high frequency sanitation of the rooms and high traffic areas. Again, we're continuing to limit access to the building for anyone not enrolled in our preschool. And we, at this point in time, would probably, we at this point in time are going to be not allowing parents, if we were to get to the yellow distinction, down to the hallways, but we would have staff escort the kids down there. And again, adults would be asked to have a plastic shield or a mask upon entering the building. And finally, if high spread was determined, there could be multiple things that could happen. We at Mount Olive is making every effort to continue services to family who are working essential positions in the community. So we have some staff at this time who would be able to stay open. It would not be a full contingency if we were to totally shut down, like what happened last spring. But we would limit the number of families we could serve due to those who had positions and still had to go to work. We may shut down if they're based on what's happening. We may shut down for a week. We may close a classroom down. We would use teleconferencing, and we would continue to provide services through families with our Brightwill communication tool. It's very robust, and it would allow us to continue servicing families educationally. So again, this is a tiered approach. Dependent on what COVID looks like in our county is how the response would be. And that would be determined by our county and state officials. So in this slide, I want to share what services would be provided dependent on if we're in a green, yellow, or red spread, virus spread. And if we are opened or closed, we would provide these services. Traditional classrooms would, like we said, require adults to wear face protections. We do have additional space identified for social distancing for some of our smaller classrooms. We do have the expectation that kids and teachers will be outside as long as the weather stays good. We will have staff in place to make sure that high-touch, high-traffic areas are cleaned, as well as the teachers making sure kids wash their hands regularly. Protocols and policies for health, including those daily checks before people are allowed into the building. Classrooms will be, maybe you've heard of the term pods, but self-contained is another way to say it. Same teachers, same kids, same families will be interacting. And children will bring supplies and keep them in bags or pails or in some way that is just their supplies. We're not going to encourage, typically we have supplies for sharing, but this year, just to help with the stop of spread, we will have much more materials that are identified for children and not shared. Also, snack time will be in the classroom and it will be prepackaged. Typically, in the past, we've encouraged children to self-serve, scoop their own snacks out, but that's not the case this year at this point in time. Virtual offerings would be through our communication tool, which is a two-way communication process. You can get a hold of us just as easy as we can get a hold of you. We will have traditional check-ins and sharing moments that we share with all our families, and lesson plans will be delivered directly through the app. Whether we're in school or not, you will have access to the lesson plans. Mount Olive staff and teachers will provide learning activities through teleconferencing, through challenges, those types of things. And we would continue to provide those whether we were in the traditional school setting or through the school. Again, with the intent to having essential workers covered so that essential work can be done in the community. We could help with providing that. And we would continue learning activities to be led by the staff if there's a forced close with the health department. So hopefully you're understanding the differences between the tiers and what would be provided if any of those things were to take place. Let's talk about how we plan to safely enter and exit the preschool and some of the new procedures that will be taking place. The Brightwill app that we have been talking about, which is our two-way communication tool, will have a QR code, and you can just pretty much wave it in front of an entrance. It will ask you to record the temperature of your child. We will have touchless thermometers there, and it will log it into the app. There will be a couple of simple questions about your child's health the night before. We will have your child will be taken to the room. You can take your child, as long as we're in green, down to the hall to deliver your child. That would change if it's yellow or red. And then they would go into the room. We're, again, asking nobody go past the threshold into the classroom. Staff is included in this check-in, health check-in as well, daily. They will be made to do the same thing. As far as the classrooms, we're going to keep them a cohesive group. We're going to identify and rotate the shared areas of playground, bike, or asphalt biking area, and the indoor attic. Again, supplies will be wiped down if they're shared, but most of the supplies your child will use will be their own, in their own person that you provide. We will have a designated pickup spot, 4 different designated pickup spots based on your child's class. That will keep you guys from bumping into each other. It will also lower the wait time, and we will provide a map at orientation as to which door. One note here I want to make sure to share is the preschool's using different doors than the church congregation, and we're doing that to help stop cross-contamination. So every effort is being made to help families, stay together, be together, and this all information, if we should get something that needs to be reported to the state or health departments, we would be able to contact everybody in that group and let them know what's going on. As far as lunch bunch goes, for the year, at this time, it will only be for our students who are staying all day. If we can get to the place where we can safely open it up for the entire school, we will sure do that. But that will be a call based on what's happening and how things are going. And it really is about making sure we have plenty of space for the kids to socially distance when they eat their lunch. And those will be in assigned seats as well. So doing everything we can to make sure your kids and your families are having fun at preschool, but also following safe procedures to keep them from touching a lot of stuff or making sure it's cleaned and wiped down if it's shared. Slide 8 is about our pickup locations. In the past, we had one big door and we all took our turn, but this year we are designating specific doors for specific classes. So Miss Stephanie's class will exit out door number 9. Miss Lori will exit door number 3. Miss Irina will be door number 5. And Miss Linda is door number 7. And again, I want to reiterate that these are doors that are only being used by preschool families. This is to cut that our church is used on Sundays, and so this will help with stopping any kind of cross-contamination that could at all happen. Also important to note that due to the changes of time with Oak Hill and the elementary schools, We have moved our time up to 8:30 to 11:30. And then if you're all day, the dismissal will be at 3:30. That is 15 minutes earlier from what we've done past. So we've moved our time up from last year by 15 minutes to accommodate families who are dropping off at Oak Hill and then bringing their kids over here. Hand washing has always been a part of the preschool experience. We are, in fact, we preschool teachers work very hard in helping kids have great, healthy hygiene and creating habits of that. This year, hand washing is the #1 way to stop coronavirus spread. So we are providing a sink in every room, and we will ask everybody to wash their hands upon entering the room. Hand washing will be required before and after lunch if they're staying for lunch bunch, before and after recess, and after bathroom use. And this year we have touchless bathroom faucets in the bathroom, so children will just wave their hand, the water will come on, and then they can grab their soap. New this year is hand sanitizer, which will be in every classroom for every staff to administer as needed. So this is a change in state law. We were unable to keep hand sanitizers in rooms, but knowing the importance of keeping the germs at bay, that has been lifted. I'm not sure if it's changed forever, but it will be administered by an adult because we just don't let kids have access to that. So again, like I said, this has always been a key part of being a preschooler, and teaching early childhood education is healthy habits, and we're going to continue that with this, especially during this time. Social distancing strategies for preschoolers. It's important that we give plenty of room for play for the students. We are going to designate some additional space in the fellowship hall, adding square feet to play areas. And these will not be shared play areas. So Miss Lori's class will have some dedicated space for her educational aide to work with students outside the classroom so that the room is not so tight. Ventilation is a big important part of stopping the spread, the droplets. So we have extended several of the classrooms that were on the smaller side. Again, no visitors are going to be allowed into the preschool space as far as classrooms during the week. Child masks are at a parent's discretion unless a fever has been detected. And I'll talk about the second sick room that we've provided and will be provided for any child who has COVID-like symptoms. But child masks are at the discretion of parents, and it will be a parental call. We are not going to have kids at designated times waiting to go to the bathroom, but the aide will be escorting children to the bathrooms in small groups of 1 or 2, whatever the bathroom holds. We are not having any large group mixed assemblies. So the 4s, even though I have 2 classrooms of 4s, the 4s will stay mostly separated in their own rooms. And again, like I said, shared spaces will be rotated. So one of my 4s class may be playing on the playground while the other's 4s class is riding bikes and playing in the grass nearby. So no mixing of groups. That's going to help any kind of cross-contamination that may or may not occur. And the only rooms that are being shared by all the preschoolers is our new Godly Playroom or the attic, which would be upstairs. And again, we're going to wipe those down after each use, and we're going to stretch them out. So classroom teachers can choose to go upstairs or stay in their room. There's going on nature walks. There's lots of ways to get that movement going if the weather or the playground's being used. And we will have a schedule as well. So just wanted to kind of let you know a little bit of the strategies that we're planning on using to keep kids safe and provide a great learning environment. So what happens if somebody gets sick at preschool? Well, hopefully we'll catch them before they are coming into the preschool, because we're going to have touchless thermometers that are going to be used for our daily health checks. All our temps are logged, and like I said, parents will answer a quick survey through our app before the kids go down to the room. My staff is included in those daily health checks. Additional touchless thermometers will be located in the classrooms, so students can quickly be assessed in the classrooms to see if they need to come to the office. If a fever is detected, we're going to do a quick assessment to see if student exhibits COVID-19-like symptoms. If they do, we're going to call parents immediately, and the student will be made comfortable in our extra sick area. We need a requirement that we have is that we need an additional sick area for students who may or may not have COVID. An adult will be with them at the time, and that is the only time we will request a mask being worn by children as at that time. The expectation is parents can get somebody to the school to pick up their child within 20 minutes of the phone call, and a child would be asked to be fever-free for at least 72 hours before returning. So if your child is sick over the weekend, please don't bring them to school until they are 72 hours free from that fever. I know I, as an employer, and other employers are going to, and the school districts are going to request that if you're not feeling well, don't come. If your child's not feeling well, don't come. We have a hard work ethic in this area, but it's real important that we really think about, does this child really need to be in preschool if they're not up 100%? And that really is what I'm going to ask parents to look at before they bring a child back after being ill. If there is a confirmed COVID case, you guys know it, you need to let us know so I can call the Department of Health. That's one of the requirements that I have, and make proper arrangements for the preschool environment. We're going to need to deep clean. I'm going to need to notify the other parents. This is why the self-contained classrooms, we're going to need to work with the group of people that have been together and be real honest and make sure that we give everybody a chance to be well and healthy. So that's kind of the process that we are planning at this point in time to help keep everybody safe and also inform everyone and to give you an idea of the expectations we're all going to have to live with as we move forward during this time. So in the last slide, I talked about if you know you have COVID, you need to call me. And so when your child is at home, maybe we don't catch them being sick, they come to school, but you find out later at home that your child is sick and you're going to have them stay home for the 72 hours. We will ask about what the symptom is your child's experiencing. I'm going to include this fact sheet about COVID-19 to help you understand some more of what that would look like, some of the symptoms. Other than phone calls to the office and our use of the Brightwill app, those are the two main ways we will try to communicate. You'll see staff members, you'll see us, I will be out, Miss Peg will be out, and you, of course we can talk, that's not a problem, but for a lot of this stuff, this app is going to help us facilitate and take care of many day-to-day things, including payments, the health check piece when they come in, the temperature log, all that stuff. It's going to allow us to do that in a lot more distant way, but also in a health and safe way until we get this under control. One of the expectations that's changing this year is that you or part of your family, I would say the parent guardian, needs to be part of our Brightwill messaging app before this first day of school. You will be invited We will either send you a text or an email or a link to get you a part of our classroom. And again, this messaging app is going to be the best way to talk back and forth about what's going on, other than phone calls to the front office. It's going to be how you get a hold of teachers. You can message, you can teleconference, you can call, lots of things like that. So I'm real excited about this tool. I know it will help in the long run keep us all on the same page. It's a great messaging board as well as two-way interaction, which is what I'm really thrilled about. So the communication tool, Brightwill app, allows us to do many things. We can share photos back and forth. We can stay connected and strengthen our activities at home. So if we're virtual, we're in that red spread and we're home virtually, we can work through that. We can do digital check-ins. You as the parent can determine who else can be a part. So grandparents, aunts, uncles, a great neighbor, a friend, a trusted friend, all those people, you can control who gets access to what information. Some of our families have grandparents who want to pay for their grandchild's preschool. So we can message the grandparent about payments and things like that instead of going to the person who has nothing to do with that. As well as grandparents who don't pay for preschool don't really need to know it's time to pay. So it's really, I like how personalized it can be, and you choose the personalization on your end. It lowers paperless billing and it lowers face-to-face interactions, keeping you guys safe and the staff safe. And it just allows us to build a community with everybody that's important to your child. One of the things that sold me on we had a great messaging tool that we've used the last couple of years called Classroom Dojo, and it was great. But this is 100% for early childhood families, and 100% of the families experienced a better school experience once Brightwill was a part of it. And we really need to increase communication, especially in this year. Our plan is to over-communicate with you, and this just seemed like a great tool to help us get there. So just real excited about the grant's ability to give us this opportunity to provide this tool for us. Another change that we are going to be using is bring some wellness, targeted, intentional wellness to the preschool. This is going to be a stressful year for the kids, for the parents, for my staff, everyone. And Lark Song is a group that are about creating a more fulfilling and courageous world. And they have a Little Larks program, a wellness being education program that we're going to implement this year. And what they do is synthesize the positive education principles with evidence-based well-being interventions. And we need those. We need positive affirmations and well-being built into our days, especially this year, I feel. And we're going to grow together and learn and increase our sense of purpose. We're still focused on creating a great preschool experience for your kids. Yes, we have a lot of these protocols, and yes, I'm talking so much about we have to do this and we have to do that. But your kid's still going to be loved at preschool. Your child's still going to have exciting, happy things to share with you. They're going to grow with their friends. They're going to get friendships and gain, and that's going to add to their sense of purpose, and that's going to expand their potential. And we can do that even in uncertain times. And Lark Song, we're partnering with them to help us do that. We're going to start out the year with Settle the Glitter. And I plan on settling my glitter a lot daily. And we're going to give kids an actual way to do that. I'm real excited about that. That's going to happen in our orientation, and then we're going to use that term in our school, and we certainly encourage you to use that term in your house. That when we're getting a little stressed and anxious, we're going to settle our glitter, and we're going to do concrete, specific things to do that. And Lark Song's going to partner with us and help us to do that. We're also going to nurture our teachers who will nurture the children, and we're going to share those practices with parents. This, again, is a very stressful and different time, and we want to make sure our families have the well-being pieces, and we're also learning together how to do that. And then we're just going to have a great, we're going to deepen our understanding of well-being for ourselves personally so we can do that for others, and we're really excited about working with Lark Song. And not all the changes that are occurring this year have to do with COVID. If you've been a part of the Mount Olive preschool family for a while, you know that we have been raising money and growing a new curriculum this year called Godly Play. It's a Montessori-based approach to spiritual growth, which means the child is in control of it. That means we know, the foundation is, we know kids already have an experience of God. They just may not have the words to express it. They know awe, they know wonder. It may feel like magic to them. And so what we want to do with the Godly Playroom is provide the language around what they are experiencing with God. And that is done through a creative approach. It's play driven. And it models worship. It tells the story. We share the symbols and rituals of Christian life with our children. We follow the liturgical calendar to help children understand why we do certain things at certain year. It's based in discovery, openness, and community, and it's about building relationships, not only with our friends around the circle, but also with our God. It has over 40 years of research, and like I said, it's Montessori based, which is a very well defined approach and philosophy to early childhood, and it nurtures the larger dimensions of faith through wonder and play. Let's face it, we don't have all the answers. We don't know God's mind. But what we can do is connect children to their relationship with God and help them see the wonder, see the amazing things that God has provided for our provision. And so I'm real excited about the Godly Playroom and its introduction this fall into the Godly Play, or into the preschool curriculum. We're really excited to have this additional piece that will replace the chapel, the assemblies that we've lost. This will be our regular, as a small classroom unit to our chapel time. So I'm going to end the presentation talking a little bit about how you can help this be a really great year, even though this feels like a very non-normal year. We have been blessed with this $20,000 grant. We have been blessed with a church that really, really has a heart for kids. I've been blessed with really great staff who love your children. And we really need you to approach this year as positively as you can. It's hard to stay positive when there's so many unknowns, but we really need you to look at, or I really am inviting you to look at the preschool year as an adventure for your child. Get them excited about their new adventure. It's big kids get to do this, you know. And just approach us. We totally understand how hard it is to leave your child with other people in a different place at this time, but know that your faith and positivity and patience is going to speak volumes to your child and start them off on a great year. We take these new regulations very seriously, and we are going to have to ask you to do things we've never asked families to do before, and they feel very counterintuitive to the preschool environment. Keeping families out of the rooms, limiting people, all those things do not feel like preschool right now. So help us out by understanding we're still navigating this too. And we are trying to do this for everyone's safety and health. Um, your cooperation is much, much appreciated. Um, Paperwork and policies, I want to make sure we understand those. And I have to have you all a part of the preschool communication tool before even the first day starts. So we anticipate Monday, August 10th, the day before school starts. So by the 11th, we hope to start. But unless all the procedures are here, everything's in place, I cannot in good conscience start the preschool. So there is some subjectivity to the calendar. And so I'm asking you to really think out if school doesn't start on August 11th, or if there is an interruption in your day and we need to have you pick up your child within 20 minutes, you'd be thinking about who can do that, who can provide that, who is willing to do that. Start talking to people now. Who's willing to help you with some of these plans that may shift and change? We are planning on a really great year. We've got this great communication tool. We plan to over-communicate. We have a telephone. You're going to have my personal cell. We want this to be a great experience for you, and we will do everything we can to do that for you within our purpose. And having a wellness plan and teaching wellness to our staff and our kids and sharing them with you, having wellness tips is all going to be a part of that. So just want to thank you for choosing Mount Olive Preschool. Thank you for trusting us with your child. We feel very honored and privileged to continue with the preschool program this year, and we look forward to a different but great year. Thank you.